Hi all. So today we will be discussing another important library to read and write the JSON data. So this library is JSON library in Python. So first of all, we need to understand that what is JSON. So it is the full form is JavaScript Object Notation. It is just like a standard text-based format for representing structured data based on JavaScript object syntax. So this is one of the most important library, or we can see if we are interacting with the web and we need to retrieve or send the data to a client server or an API, then JSON is must. You must know that how to read the data from the JSON in Python, how to read the JSON data from a file in Python, how to make the convert the string or dictionary data into JSON file, or how if you have some JSON data, how you need to convert it into a string format. So these are the important things that you must know before you proceed with the JSON thing. So where it is used, it is commonly used for transmitting data in web applications, just like sending some data from server to the client, or it could be displayed on a web page, or you have a form and you want to retrieve the form data in a JSON file so that you can use it in another formats also. Like it could be a JSON file once made, it could be used in Java platform, or you can send the form data to an API, or you can retrieve the data from an API into a JSON format to your Python code. So these type of things we can do with the JSON. So first of all, it is already installed. In most of the cases, if you have Python installed, then JSON will already be installed in your system, whether it's Windows, it's Linux, or it's any other operating system. But in case if it is not, then use pip install JSON lib. So this will install all the libraries related to JSON. Now the next part is that how to convert JSON in Python. This plays an important role. Let's suppose you have a dictionary, you have a list, you want that to convert in that list or dictionary into a JSON format. So for that, let us take an example. For that, we have that import JSON. Now JSON is there. Before you proceed with JSON, you need to import this library. Now you have imported. Now let's say we have one dictionary. I am having this dictionary with the name coding mental, and the website name with the key sorry, it is website. So website would be like codingmente.com. Now I am having this dictionary. I want this dictionary to be converted into some JSON data. So for that, we need to use this function as dumps. To convert that data to a JSON, we need to use this dumps, this keyword dump. So how we need to use it as like data data underscore JSON will be equal to JSON dot dumps dict. So, oh sorry, I forgot to print that print data underscore JSON. So this has been printed. If you can see earlier, it was a type dictionary. It was a dictionary type. Now it has been converted into a string type. Let's say it is a dict. Now I would like to go with the print of, if you want to know any type of that whatever the object has been returned, you can just use the type keyword, type data JSON. So let's see. Now earlier this is of the type dictionary dict. So it is dict. Now again I was printing that JSON format, it has converted it into a string format. So this is how we can load that data. We have some simple data, we want it to be converted into some JSON, so we can use that. Now let's do some reverse, that we have some JSON data and we want to uh, open that data into a string format. Let's say I'm having this data, data equals to, now we need to go with the JSON result. I mean, we have some JSON, now we need to convert into Python data. So we will be using JSON.load data. Let's see. Okay. First of all, we need to make it into a string. We have already kept it as a string. So now we have this print result. So this has been printed. Now let's move to the third part, where we need to go with the, we have done this part, we have convert the Python data. Now we have the another thing to know, it is the how to read JSON data from a CSV or a file in Python. So we will be going with reading. So let's suppose I'm having this JSON file. This is my JSON file. You can have any file you want. So now I want to read this JSON file. So for that we will use with open, then file name sample2.json. See, if you have the file in the same folder, you can give that simple file name. If you have file in different folder, let's suppose it is not in this folder but in another folder, then you have to give the whole path for that file. Otherwise it will give error as file. So press enter. Now we have this file and we want the data from this file. To read this data from this file, so we will be using json.load. I will tell you that where to use the load and loads, because this confuse mostly many people, that where to use the load and where to use the loads. So let's see if we can see. So this data has been, this whatever there was in the JSON, it has been printed here. So now let's move to the next slide to know that where to use load and loads. So basic difference between load and loads in JSON Python. You must know this because most of the time we struggle with these errors, that it is a dictionary or it is encoder error, encoding error or anything. But the main difference you must know before proceeding further. So the load is, JSON.load is used to read the data from the file in Python. So and loads is used to convert the JSON string document into the Python dictionary. If you remember, in this I had used load because this was the, I was reading it from file, and in my previous code, just 2 minutes, I had used this, I had used loads here because this was a string. I want to convert this string into this data, so that's why I had used the loads. Then where load function we use? Load function is used to pass JSON from a URL or file. If you have some URL and in that URL you are having some JSON data, or you have some file just like the demo I showed you before, so you need to use json.load. And if you have a string having JSON content, use json.loads. So this is all about JSON library in Python. Hope you understand it. In case if you have any doubt, you can comment below so that I can resolve your doubt. And please like and subscribe my channel so that I can make more videos like this. Thank you.